Today, in a world where a man motivated by money defeats a man motivated by glory in his home country. That went down last Saturday night. How about this Saturday night when Alex Pereira tries to make one of the best 2024s of all time in the UFC as he steps in the octagon with Khalil Roundtree? I'll go with it. At first, I didn't know if I would, but I'll go with it. And then also, this Saturday night, will we finally be done with Juliana Pena? And I keep asking myself, do I want to be done with Juliana Pena? Or do we need somebody like that sticking around? All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy Matt, and we are here to go over what went down last Saturday night at UFC Paris, and we're also going to discuss UFC 307, which goes down this Saturday night. So, let's start out with UFC Paris, where at the tippy top, as I just spoke about, Moicano, the man motivated by money, maybe also glory, defeated Benoit Saint-Denis right there in France in what was a domination in one round, but the fight ended after two. Moicano goes out there with an injured shoulder. Homie had something protruding out of his lat, or his trapezius, mixing it up. He had something protruding out right here. Goes out there the first round, takes Benoit Saint-Denis down after Benoit Saint-Denis threw a typical left kick in which footage is out. It's out on Instagram of Moicano kept spamming this over his entire training camp. He kept having his training partners do this left kick that Benoit Saint-Denis does either to the body or it's a high kick to the head. Kept spamming that, and all Moicano was doing was figuring out ways to catch that kick, take him to the ground, or catch that kick and trip him to the ground. And that's exactly what happened in the first round. He goes to the ground. Ground and pound punishment was on 100. Literally dominated the man from the top position, battered his face, cut his eye like in 3 places, took his back a couple of times, tried to sink in a choke, then just was like, why? Outstanding performance by Moicano. You know what I'm saying? Goes out there in the second round. Shout out to Benoit Saint-Denis, who won the second round. Now, I'm not sure if he won it just because he's that dog tough and he won it, or if he won the second round because Moicano knew that sooner or later the doctor gonna stop this fight because he got like 3 holes in his eye. So sooner or later, Dean gonna call a halt to the action and stop the fight with the doctor, which is what ended up happening. Nevertheless, shout out to Moicano. He moves forward. One of his call-outs was to Paddy Pimblett. That is definitely the fight to make. That's the fight I want to see. I can't imagine all of the things Moicano would say and hype up going into that fight. So, definitely with that, shout out to both men. You know what I'm saying? Benoit Saint-Denis just needs to take a little bit of time off, heal up, get back to the drawing board. He's still going to be a force at 155. Nevertheless, let's move on to a snooze fest that was the co-main event as Brendan Allen went out there and took a L, and he deserved the L, to Nasruddin Imavov. Bro, Brendan Allen went out there, unlike Money Moicano, first round, takes him down, and then just laid on top of him the whole round and controlled him. That was about it. He really didn't have any ground and pound, any ground defense at all. Maybe he landed a couple of strikes, but it wasn't anything. And then round 2, he gets dominated by Nasruddin Round 3, he gets dominated again. He tried to throw some hands a little bit in round 3, but it was a little too late. A little too late, Brendan Allen. And he goes out there and he takes that L. So that's that, you know what I'm saying? He'll go back. He'll get back. He'll get back. He'll get back in the gym. He'll figure it out. He looks to definitely looks like he could still be somebody at middleweight, but just not at this time. He's got to redefine, some skills a little bit more. But let's move over to Nasruddin, because with this guy, Nasruddin is going to end up being the middleweight Ankalaev. You know what I'm saying? Ankalaev from light heavyweight. That's who he's going to end up being, because this guy, he's a fighter that I would say he is content to coast. And that doesn't work well with Dana White and the matchmakers. Again, CC Ankalaev, who is still trying to get a title shot at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? It's just, Imov goes out there. He does really well on the feet. He's a really good grappler. He has good wrestling. But once he is in the lead of an opponent, he just is content to coast. And he's not really worried about trying to finish his opponent or really inflict a lot of damage, to put that stamp on it, to stand out. You know what I'm saying? He made a call out that he wants to fight for the title. I don't see that happening anytime soon. You're not even going to get the rematch against Sean Strickland next. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen, because you're going to be Ankalaev of middleweight if you don't go out there and really start putting a pace on these opponents to finish them. Not just putting a pace on them to show that you're dominant, but to finish them. So, nevertheless, shout out to Nasruddin. He goes out there, he gets a win. Let's move on to another fight I want to highlight. I'm not going to highlight all the fights on this card, but just a few of them. Let's talk about William Gomez. William Gomez goes out there. He defeats Joanderson Brito by split decision. Man, this was a razor close fight. You know what I'm saying? Razor close, razor thin. So, I personally scored it for William, but if you had it going to Brito, shout out to you. I can't knock you. There's a world where I saw Brito winning, you know what I'm saying? But it played out kind of how I thought it would, except for one part. I thought that William is definitely the more technical striker. That's a given. I felt like he's an all-around better fighter overall, as far as being well-rounded, right? So at times, he was able to keep Brito at bay. He used his jab. He used a lot of body kicks, a lot of teeps. So at times, I felt like he was doing well. Did well to control Brito on the ground when he had that opportunity. But what I didn't account for, Brito a savage. Like, I knew he was a savage, but he a savage. He a barbarian. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude, he could have been knocking out 3 men at once, because he's swinging not only so wildly with so much power, so much rage, so much force, but he swings wide, which I think it really works for him. A lot of guys swing wide, and it's like, why are you swinging that wide, dude? Like, what are you doing? Conserve your energy. But with Brito, he swings so wide that as his opponents try to evade, either left or right, he's swinging so wide, he's bound to hit you anyway. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much you get off the center line, the way this dude is swinging, he gonna hit you on any part of the center line. Off the center line, to the left of it, to the right of it. He's gonna hit you. You know what I'm saying? That dude is wild, bro. And, I mean, he gets tired, you can tell, but he's got that Dricus du Plessis in him. Like, he just pushes past the point of being tired. Shout out to Joanderson Brito. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely not going to lose any cachet in the division or with the UFC, because he's just a wild fighter. He's an action fighter. Awesome to see. But shout out to William. That's who I predicted to win. He went out there. He got the win. It was good to see his post-fight celebration. You could tell, like, he really trained for that. He really wanted that win. So shout out to him. He moves forward. And frankly, so does Brito. He moves forward as well. So, awesome fight. You know, great to see. Let's move over to a fight that got performance of the night. Brian Battle. Brian Battle goes out there and defeats Kevin Jousset. You know what I'm saying? Bro, Brian Battle went out there and just there was a point in the first round where he caught Brian Battle with a few shots, and Brian acknowledged them and then fired back with a combination. And that acknowledgement pretty much said, we throwing the game plan out the window. We getting ready to put them on the table, and we going to see whose is bigger. You know what I'm saying? And we getting ready to go out here, we get ready to throw hands. And that was exactly what happened. And Brian Battle made the decision to walk this man down after pretty much most of the first round. He tried to control him and lean him up against the fence. But from that point, whether it was at the end of the first or it was early in the second, when Kevin caught this man with a few shots and Brian Battle acknowledged him and fired back with a combination, it was over from that point. Brian Battle, he was on it. You know what I'm talking about? This dude was going in after that. So shout out to him. Shout out to his performance against the crowd there in Paris. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him for just embracing the heel role and understanding that he was fighting a countryman. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get cheered over this guy. I mean, who is he? Aljamain Sterling? You know what I'm talking about? You're not going to get cheered over this man unless you Aljo. So it's like, dude, he had to go out there and he embraced the heel role. It looked great. It looks good being clipped up on sites, and he's going to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. Did his thing. So, that's that dude, Brian Battle. Did his thing. Another performance of the night. We had Morgan Charrier, or Chari, depending on which person in the broadcast booth was saying his name, goes out there and knocks out Gabriel Miranda in the second round. Outstanding fight, you know what I'm saying? Great performance by Morgan. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a star in the post-fight speech. You know what I'm saying? There in France, he's a star. You know what I'm saying? He does his thing, bro. So shout out to him. He definitely moves forward. Good to see him bounce back after a loss that it definitely could have went his way in that decision. So shout out to him. He moves forward. Still looks like a star. Sky's the limit for the dude. How about this? Right, all in a row. Let's talk about another performance of the night. Goes to my guy, Faraz Zaim, as he goes out there and steamrollers Matt Frivola. You know what I'm saying? This dude goes out there and shows us a knockout of the year candidate, even though it won't win in a world where we saw Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway knock out Justin Gaethje. Still, this knockout was amazing. Faraz goes out there, has an amazing frames the head right into a knee, knocks him out. Looks like he got hit with a shotgun. Bow. He was out. You know what I'm saying? It was an amazing fight, bro. Great fight. And I feel like he just kept kind of spamming that knee to the chest, whether his back was on the octagon or he had Frivola up against the octagon. He just kept spamming that he kept hitting him in the chest, in the sternum with that knee, or in the stomach, right? Over and over again. And I feel like Frivola kind of got in that zone where he thought that was where the strike was going to land. And then wham, he framed him off into that knee to the head, and it was chef's kiss. It was great. Shout out to him. He moves forward, gets that performance of the night. Let's see. We're going to skip over a fight or two. How about Omar Sy? He goes out there. He beats Dongwoo Chung. You know what I'm saying? Outstanding on him, man. He really showed he's really been working on his stand-up. He had a great jab, a long, rangy jab. Did a great job keeping his opponent at bay. And then, of course, the grappling, the wrestling, the submissions, the submission attempts, they're all still outstanding. They're all still there. So, shout out to him. He goes out there and gets a win. Let's talk about Taylor Lapilus. He goes out there, does Taylor Lapilus things, and he defeats Vince Morales. Outstanding fight, you know what I'm saying? Unanimous decision win. You kind of want to see Taylor go out there and try to finish more opponents, but nevertheless, dude, this dude has got the goods. He moves forward. Shout out to him, man. He still looks like a star, especially when he fights there in France. Alex Perez goes out there. This lady is wild, bro. You know, she walks out at the weigh-ins, you know what I'm saying? First off, when she weighed in, all of this stuff Michael Bisping was talking about, that she faked, that she was shaking and about to pass out during the weigh-in. She missed weight, not by much, but she did miss weight. She goes out at the ceremonial weigh-in. She's bringing that energy. I'm talking about, I'm not going to get in trouble here online, but, if you've been inside certain establishments and you've seen certain females, that's the type of energy she was bringing. You know what I'm saying? And then she goes out there in this fight, and like I said, bro, the wrestling, the grappling was going to be the difference. And she goes out there and submits her opponent and then twerks on her face afterwards, pretty much. So, if you're her and that's her brand, you know what I'm saying? That was intelligent for her to do, because that got clipped up, put out on all the YouTube sites, you know what I'm saying? All the Instagram sites, anything MMA, ESPN, or sport related, that was getting clipped up and put out there. So, that's part of her brand. Shout out to her, bro. Pretty intelligent thing to get clipped up and put everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That'll definitely do her favors with the matchmakers going out there next time. So, outside of that, dude, one more performance of the night. Shout out to Chris Duncan. He goes out there. He submits Oki, bro. Quality submission. You know what I'm saying? He literally choked his opponent out, released the choke. You know what I'm saying? Released the choke, and his opponent was passed out on his chest afterwards. You don't see that too often. Shout to him. He goes out there. He gets a submission win. Nevertheless, man, that was UFC Paris. And we will move forward to UFC 307. You know what I'm saying? We're going to somewhat fly through this because it kind of is what it is. Let's start out with the main event as Poatan, Alex Pereira, steps in the octagon to defend his light heavyweight championship against Khalil Roundtree. Man, not much to say here. I got Alex Pereira by knockout. I'm not sure what round, but I got Alex Pereira by knockout. It's just what it is, bro. And, I'm not, there's definitely a world, Khalil Roundtree is no joke on the feet. And he seems to be an intelligent fighter. You know what I'm saying? Seems to have a pretty good fight IQ. So there's definitely a world where Khalil Roundtree could catch Alex Pereira. And we know he packs dynamite and he will knock you out. But, man, I got to go along with Alex Pereira to go out there and get the win. And we will see where he goes from there. Will he go up to heavyweight? Will he face whoever's the heavyweight champion? Is it the winner of Stipe or John, or is it Tom Aspinall? More than likely, it's Tom Aspinall. So, we will see where Alex Pereira goes from here. But, he keeps calling for a fight against Dricus du Plessis at middleweight. I think that's a terrible idea. Don't drain yourself. Don't go for that weight cut. You know what I'm saying? You got a good thing going on, and you can just go up to heavyweight. So, shout out to Alex Pereira. He gets the win. How about in the co-main event? Raquel Rocky Pennington goes out there against Juliana Pena for the women's bantamweight championship of the world. Man, so I've kind of gone back and forth with this fight, back and forth. And in fights before this, I will say I've actually liked Juliana Pena. I've liked the build-up that she's tried to do. She's embraced being the heel. She understands that she comes off, it's just easy to hate her. You know what I'm saying? It's just easiest way to put it. She's easy to hate. And so with that being said, I've liked how she's built up a lot of her fights. But I will say, man, outside of that great performance against Amanda Nunes, who maybe didn't take her as seriously, maybe didn't train as hard, or might have went into that fight injured, Juliana looked great in that. But since then, I don't feel like she's looked great at all. And she keeps getting injured. She keeps taking time off due to injuries. And I know she's talking a good game to get herself there in a position to fight for the championship. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know. And I'm not the, I'm not the biggest Pennington fan, but you can't really knock her skills, as basic as they might be, or as traditional, or how much of a brawler style they might be. You can't knock it. So, man, I'm going to go along with Raquel Pennington to go out there and get the win. I'm not sure where Juliana is at this point in her career, because I think mentally she's there. I think her mindset is there, but I'm not sure if her body is holding up. You know what I'm saying? She just seems like she keeps getting these little weird injuries that she doesn't speak about a lot. Never really tells you what exactly it is, but it keeps her out of the octagon for months and months and months at a time. So I'm going along with Pennington to go out there and get the win. Next, at bantamweight, we have the featherweight GOAT, my featherweight GOAT. Jose Aldo goes out there against Mario Bautista. Now, I'm seeing that Mario Bautista is the favorite going into this. I mean, bro, I don't know. I mean, Jose Aldo hasn't looked bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he didn't even really look bad against Merab. He's just fighting Merab at altitude, and Merab's just holding it, let me hold you up against the cage and not do much damage to you. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, bro. I don't know if it, he's minus 175, I don't know, bro. I don't know if those, I ain't saying that Jose's got to be the favorite, but I don't know about this. I got to go along with Jose Aldo to go out there and get the win, because he hasn't really looked bad. And, Bautista, he boxes. Like, he's a pretty good boxer for real. And so I kind of feel like, that's right in Jose Aldo's wheelhouse, or what has been his wheelhouse over like his last 4 to 5 fights. So, I'm done for the days of hoping for Jose Aldo to get those leg kicks cracking again. You know what I'm saying? That's just a pipe dream. You're good if you get like 2 or 3 of them in a fight, but I got to go along with, featherweight GOAT Jose Aldo to go out there and win this one in bantamweight. And I like Mario, but I still got to go along with Jose Aldo. Next, at women's bantamweight, we have Ketlin Vieira stepping in there with Kayla Harrison. While Ketlin is no slouch, man, I got to go along with Kayla Harrison. I got to go along with Kayla Harrison to go out there and get the win and make a call out of the winner of Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington, in which I think it's going to be Pennington versus Kayla Harris, in which Kayla Harris is going to go out there and do work and become the new women's bantamweight champion of the world. That's my future. That's my Mystic Matt prediction. You know what I'm talking about? But Kayla Harrison. Let's move on. We have Roman Dolidze goes out there against Big Mouth Kevin Holland. I got Kevin Holland all day. And I think, not that Roman is a slouch, but I just think that Kevin Holland's gas tank, I believe, is a lot better than Roman Dolidze. And Roman Dolidze can get caught early, and he's so dog tough he can coast through the rest of the fight. And Kevin Holland's not that dude you want to play that game with. So I got Kevin Holland to go out there and get the win. Kevin Holland, I feel like he's better at welterweight, but he wants to fight at middleweight, so let him fight at middleweight. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes down, but I got Kevin Holland to get the win. Next, very interesting fight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson goes out there against Joaquin Buckley. Man, I got to go along with Buckley. I'm sure that's not a hot take. Wonderboy still has the goods on the feet, but I think Buckley's ability to go out there and just run through 5 brick walls to get a takedown, I think that's going to be your difference maker. I think Buckley is good enough on the feet, and he packs enough power that if he can land on Wonderboy, he will wobble him. And that's going to get Wonderboy to thinking differently about standing with him, even though he's not going to go to the ground, but it's going to affect his stand-up ability. But really, I just think Buckley's going to continue to go out there and spam those run-through brick wall takedowns that he has and get him to the ground and hold him and control him on the ground. So I got Buckley to go out there and get the win. Next, we have Marina Rodriguez stepping in there against Yasmin Lucindo. I got Lucindo all day. I think Rodriguez is a great fighter, but I got to go along with Lucindo. I think she's doing big things at women's strawweight. Next, at middleweight, we have Cesar Almeida stepping in there against Hihor Poteria. Man, I got Almeida. I think this is going to be a dynamite fight on the feet, but I got Almeida to go out there and get the win. Although I will say there is a world, Poteria is tricky. He's sneaky. So I could see a world where he comes in there and, he was looking a lot more jacked in his last couple of fights as well. So there's definitely a world where he could get him to the ground and control him, I believe. But I think Almeida's going to do work on the feet and get him out of there before he's able to do that. So I got Almeida for the win. We have, they rebooked Ryan Spann versus OSP. Once again, I'm going along with OSP because Ryan Spann is just not reliable or consistent. I mean, by all means, he should go out there and easily knock out OSP in round one. But he's Ryan Spann. He's not reliable. He's not consistent. And he's probably going to go out there and show low fight IQ and take a L. Next, we have Carla Esparza back in the octagon against Tisha Pennington. Tricky one to call. I'm actually going to go along with Carla Esparza. I think Carla Esparza will definitely be able to get this fight to the ground multiple times if need be. And she'll be able to control Tisha Pennington. And I'm going to go along with Carla Esparza. Former champion, two-time champion. You know what I'm saying? I think she's going to go out there and get the win, which inevitably will probably be her retirement fight, probably be her last fight in the octagon. I think she's going to go out with a bang. Not really fighting style. I think she's going to go out there and do her traditional wrestling style, but she's going to win the fight. So I got her for the win. And then the opening fight of the night, we have Court McGee steps in there with Tim Means. I'm actually going to go along with Tim Means to get the win. I'm also going to predict that one of these men is going to lay down their gloves in the octagon, if not both men. But I got the Dirty Bird, Tim Means, to go out there and probably get the win, probably by knockout or TKO stoppage. So, that is UFC 307. That is Poatan Alex Pereira in the main event. I'm calling him over Khalil Roundtree, as well as I'm calling Raquel Pennington over Juliana Pena. So, that's my picks for the main event of UFC 307. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know your picks for those main events. And once again, I do want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I check you next time. Peace.